Psycho Talk tonight. It's the Baxter. You like that? This is your favorite part of the show, isn't it?
This part.
At least I can amuse the crew here. Beck with a crazy analogy about how the health care bill will make people less safe.
The Democrats are pursuing this bill with absolute reckless abandon. They are actually making it more likely that we as a nation, as a republic, will be injured and possibly fatally injured. Does that sound crazy?
Yeah, it does. Sounds really crazy. But it's nothing compared to the psycho analogy he uses in a pathetic attempt to prove his point.
The NFL, with good ideas, they make their players wear the most protective helmets modern technology can provide. Yet, nearly every week, another player winds up with a concussion or worse. Rugby players don't wear the helmets. They don't wear a helmet at all. Yet, head injuries are down in that league. Look at the systematic failure here. The more protection large entities provide, the riskier your behavior comes.
Baxter, leave the sports thing alone. You don't know your ass from third base. So wearing a helmet causes more risky behavior? That's why states have passed helmet laws. The Baxter pours fake gasoline on folks and compares the president to Hitler and Stalin. Now, you tell me whose brains are scrambled. Now, you may be wondering how Glenn can bring this thing back around to health care. Well, just listen.
The United States government, that is the helmet. You can't fail. We'll be here. The way to fix health care is to get the government out of it. The closer the decision and the consequences are to you, the closer you'll be to a system that actually works.
Right, because keeping the government out of it has worked so well so far. 45 million people are uninsured because they decided to take risks with their lives. They just like the risky behavior, right? Glenn, from the moment you kicked off this analogy right up until the final whistle, it was complete.
True story, tonight's worst persons in the world. The bronze to Jay Walder, this month's chairman of New York City's MTA, the Metropolitan Transit Authority, city's managers of subways and buses and stuff. The authority today approved budget cuts, closing 2 subway lines, reducing trains, charging school kids more to take public transportation to school. Al, this is a result of the shocking, total surprise budget shortfall that the MTA has had every 18 months or so for about the last 4 decades. The latest $400 million they suddenly discovered last week they just didn't have. I know this is a local thing, but this has been going on since I was a kid. It is the biggest running scam in this town since they caught Boss Tweed. Our runner-up, Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, although we really must thank her for unintentionally lightening the mood tonight, compared a code-red anti-healthcare reform rally to a moment in history I guess she thought she understood. It's the charge of the Light Brigade. You know, like the poem, half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. A little over 600 British cavalrymen charged the Russian lines at Balaclava in the Crimean War on October 25, 1854. At least half of them were killed, injured, or captured, largely because the 600 were attacking 20 Russian infantry battalions that had 5,240 men and 40 siege guns. Supposedly, Lord Cardigan was ordered to make the charge by Lord Lucan because Cardigan was his brother-in-law and Lucan had hated his guts for 30 years. So, Congresswoman, if you want to compare your nutbags to the charge of the Light Brigade, have a nice ride. But our winner, former Bush press secretary Dana Perino, I'll admit it, when she was still on the job, I wondered, was she specifically selected because she had no clue? Had she been trained to not have a clue? Did she have one of those memory imprinting problems? But after the president told CBS the other night that he didn't wave the flag at West Point about Afghanistan because he thought, quote, one of the mistakes that was made over the last 8 years is for us to have a triumphant sense about war, Ms. Perino followed up on Fix News by saying, I hope President Obama didn't mean it the way it came across, but when he suggested that President Bush was too triumphant in his rhetoric when talking about war. Ms. Perino, over here, ma'am. I'd like to show you a photograph and ask you if you recognize when or where it's from. No? No clue? Any idea who the guy was? Seriously, you're hoping President Obama didn't think President Bush was too triumphant in his rhetoric when talking about war? I mean, even Mr. Bush has now said mission accomplished was a mistake. Dana, is my head attached to my shoulders, or did I leave it at home again by accident? By gosh, Perino, today's worst person in the world.